BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, and VHS82 apostrophe. I'm your Wednesday night host for BodyBags, and this week I bring you The Black Castle, directed by Nathan Juran. Now he's best known for Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. He'll go on to direct The Deadly Mantis, but this is his directorial debut in 1952. And it's produced by William Allen, and together they'll work on a few movies later on as well. And but it stars Richard Greene, Stephen McNally, Rita, Corday. Really are your three main actors. And of course, as a side note, you have Boris Karloff and Chaney Jr. And they kind of play in the supporting cast. And really, what you have here is an interesting tale. It's sort of a misplaced movie, 52. It sort of feels like it should have been done back maybe in the 30s and the 40s, or maybe back later on during the Hammer days. But here it is in 52, and of course you've got the 50s. Them and all the monster movies that are coming out. As a result of the atomic testing and everything. And you sort of have this weird, misplaced, old Universal Gothic castle, swashbuckling, swordplay, romance, wild hunt that involves a black leopard. You've got, in this castle, you've got Chaney Jr. creeping around, who's sort of like Count Bruno, who is the antagonist, who's seeking revenge for something that happened like previous. You've got a pit full of hungry gators. Of course, there's that hunt that will take place, and of course a black leopard is set loose, and they're trying to hunt this leopard down. And you got this guy Bruno who is a count, and he sort of has a stranglehold on the local village, from that is like at the bottom of the castle or whatever. And his wife, Countess Elga, who of course is Rita Corday, and Richard Greene, of course, plays Sir Richard as a Burton, but he'll go under the alias of Beckett, as he, basically the synopsis is this count has had a run-in with some English officers in colonial Africa. And back when England and Germany had a bit of colonialism going on, and these two kind of bumped heads, and Count Bruno nearly gets killed as a result of the English rounding up the natives. And so he's been seeking revenge ever since. Well, he ultimately, and this is sort of kind of like back information we get, has somehow gotten his hands on two of the three guys. Well, the other one decides, he doesn't know where his buddies have disappeared to. He just knows they've been last seen in Austria at this count's castle. So he decides to go under an alias, and him and his companion, Romley, they'll go down there. He gets an invite to a hunting party, and so as a result, he will try to find his two buddies, and if they are dead, then somehow gain information that will implicate this count so that justice will be done. But it's weird because in this backdrop story, you don't really know who really ought to be blamed and not blamed for what has happened in the past. You just know this guy is out for revenge, man, and he's not going to rest until he gets it. But on full display, of course, you got British etiquette and honor, and of course the Germans or the Austrian comes across as brutish and rude, and so you've got you've sort of got this clash of civilizations, I guess, and but also it acts as a weird foreshadowment of World War I, in the sense that Germany and England, of course, in 1914 will be the major players in this massive global war that will ensue, and colonialism plays just a bit of it. Now in this story, when under the alias of Beckett when he shows up to be part of this hunting party. That's when things start to take kind of, really get going. But he'll also in the midst of trying to find information out on his buddies, he'll actually fall for the Count's wife, who he actually mistreats quite a bit, and she's really sort of just completely lost interest and just doesn't want to have anything to do with him. But this is back in the day when you can't just sort of walk away from these things, so she's kind of stuck. But that's where Beckett sort of shows up and sweeps her off her feet, and so you've got this just really awesome adventure, and it's sort of kind of, I don't know if I've ever seen this movie or not. If I did, I was a kid, and it was it was probably one of those Saturday, Sunday things where my mom ran black and white movies all day long as she cleaned the house, and I'd sit on the couch or whatever and soak up some of it. But it really did harken back to the day as a kid, when I was a little kid, and I would watch a lot of black and white movies, and a lot of it was adventure tales and whatnot, and so it's a fun movie, and I love the end. It begins, actually, it's weird. The movie actually begins with finding the two, Beckett and Countess Elga. They are both presumably dead in coffins in a crypt, and but they're not dead. Something weird has happened to them, and sort of that's how the film begins. And then through narration, you're taking into the story as it unfolds all the way up to that point. By the end of the movie, you're brought back to that point again for the ending. And so I won't give much more away, other than it's fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun. The only problem with the release, it's part of the Universal Vault series. And it literally, there's no menu screen, there's no extras of any sort. I mean, it is just, you plug the DVD in and the movie rolls, and that's it. That's all you get, which is fine, but menu screen would have at least been nice. But I loved all the actors, and I thought it was shot well, really well. I would imagine all of it was on the backlot Universal, and there are times in the movie when when it really is amazing, considering it's backlot, and it does not feel like backlot at all. Of course, most of the movies back then shot on backlot. There was just an art craft to these things that was just absolutely amazing. The work, the practical work that went in, that just rarely is conveyed today anymore. I think maybe the best example of today, and it really isn't so much that a lot of it is shot on backlot, but I just think of The Thing from '82 and how they shot on location just to get some absolutely amazing shots. But in the old days, a lot of it, man, was just on the backlot. It was just creating, off the ground, sort of creating these incredible, elaborate sets. And of course, the actors back then always usually carried movies really well. And but Karloff, this guy, this Count, just has a lot of enemies, and it's funny. It's one of those stories where the main antagonist has sort of worn out his welcome, and so when people around him get opportunities to sort of stab him in his back, they'll do it, and it's well deserving though. Because this guy's pretty sadistic, man. This guy is just, like I say, he's got a pit of hungry alligators in his castle, among many other things. And so it's sort of a misplaced film, but it's fun. I mean, I had a blast. I think my favorite scene, it was right at the beginning, actually, when Beckett and Romley, they stop at what I think is the Green Man. It's an inn, and he's trying to ascertain some questions as to the whereabouts of his buddies, even before he gets to the castle. And if you knew or know, the Green Man is the inn that Christopher Lee stops in the original Wicker Man, as he starts asking questions. So that's an interesting little thing. But anyways, a couple of the Count's lackeys, I guess, henchmen or whatever, they show up at the inn to create some havoc. And so what you have suddenly on full display is British. Beckett will take him on a little bit of swordplay, and how that all is carried out and ends is great. It might be one of my favorite moments in the entire movie. I just absolutely love it. I think Beckett says when the sword fight is done and he's basically taking these two down, his point is like, I can accept bad swordsmanship, but what I can't accept is bad manners. I mean, it's just good stuff, man. It's just good stuff. So, anyways, so VHS82 apostrophe. It is Wednesday night, and the Black Castle. If you have not seen it, and you love the old Universal stuff, get your hands on it. It was pretty cheap. Got it off Amazon for, I don't know, 13, 14 bucks maybe. And I'm not sure it's streaming at all. But then again, I mean, you never know. Look for it. So, yeah, the Black Castle. And this has been your Wednesday night review. And hope y'all have a good rest of the week. And of course, we'll always end off with Go Bills.